Presidential debates of yesteryear were stolid affairs, often to the point of dullness. They were heavier on the policy and lighter on the gotcha sound bites from more recent debates. But as America's longest running pastime, yeah, that's right, you baseball, there's nothing like cuddling next to your loved one on the couch watching politicians verbally abuse each other for an hour and a half straight rather than get any problem solved. Amazing. I'm Mike from Collection of Madness, and these are the top notable moments in election debate history. Hey everyone, Collection of Madness is running for YouTube president. Yay us! If you'd like to vote for us, just hit that subscribe button and hit the notification button as well, because together we can subscribe to this channel. Together. Number 10, head nod, George W. Bush, Al Gore, presidential debate 2000. The American election process usually yields about 90% politics and 100% drama, land of the free. However, in the 2000 presidential debate, Al Gore, who memorably sighed a lot at statements made from his opponent George W. Bush, would seek to take advantage of that playful insult earlier on in the election. But the best moment might have been when Gore at one point stood up seemingly to intimidate Bush, and Bush simply nodded hello at him and continued with what he was saying.
That I can get something positive done on behalf of the people. That's what the question in this campaign is about. It's not only what's your philosophy and what's your position on issues, but can you get things done? And I believe I can.
Number 9, Likeable Enough, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Democratic debate 2008. In 2008, a common political question was whether Hillary Clinton was likable enough. In a primary debate, Barack Obama answered that question, "You're likable enough, Hillary." This was widely interpreted, especially among Clinton supporters, as rude and condescending, but it also could have been a genuine response. Nonetheless, it got a laugh, and Hillary seemed fine.
I agree with that. I don't think I'm that bad.
You're likable enough.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Number 8, Joe Kiddin, Sarah Palin, Joe Biden, Vice Presidential Debate 2008. Before her debate with vice presidential candidate Joe Biden, Sarah Palin asked her opponent if she could call him Joe. Luckily, remembering his name way back then, Daddy Dementia giddily responded, "Of course." That set her up for a cannon line later in the debate. "Say it ain't so, Joe." Palin did much better in the debate than many people were expecting, possibly part due to Biden being very careful not to insult her or otherwise seem cruel.
Say it ain't so, Joe. There you go again, pointing backwards again, though. You prefaced your whole comment with the Bush administration. Now, doggone it, let's look ahead and tell Americans what we have to plan to do for them in the future.
Number 7, Getting Personal, Michael Dukakis, 1988. 1988's Democratic nominee candidate Michael Dukakis was asked a bizarre question by CNN's Bernard Shaw. Shaw asked that if Kitty Dukakis, the candidate's wife, were raped and murdered, would you favor an irrevocable death penalty? Now, he could have said that, of course, as a husband, his instinct would be for revenge, and that we live in a democratic society, and personal revenge has no place for our laws. Instead, he gave a passionless answer, "No, I don't, Bernard." Opposing the death penalty wasn't the issue, it was the lackluster robotic response that did Dukakis in that year.
If Kitty Dukakis were raped and murdered, would you favor an irrevocable death penalty for the killer?
No, I don't, Bernard, and I think you know that I've opposed the death penalty during all of my life. I don't see any evidence that it's a deterrent, and I think there are better and more effective ways to deal with violent crime.
Number 6, No Jack Kennedy, Lloyd Bentsen and Dan Quayle, 1988 Vice Presidential Debate. Sometimes the vice presidential debates have yielded more memorable moments in any given election year. Such was the case with Dukakis' running mate Lloyd Bentsen when he tore into Dan Quayle, who was George H.W. Bush's running mate. Quayle, young and fair-haired, was often compared to a John Kennedy, usually by the Republican Party. Despite his being widely considered to be a bit more of a dimwit, Quayle made the mistake of invoking JFK during the debate, giving Bentsen the memorable opening and making the audience erupt in applause.
Senator, I served with Jack Kennedy. I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Number 5, Ford made an Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, 1976. The 1976 presidential debate saw some shaking times, but as soon as the debate started back up, so did the presidential drama, beginning with President Gerald Ford declaring boldly that there was no Soviet domination over Eastern Europe at a time when every Eastern European country was securely locked behind the Iron Curtain. This event is known as the blooper heard round the world. Ford clearly knew that the Soviets dominated Eastern Europe, but he was trying to make a rhetorical point and simply blew it, and went on to blow the election that year.
No Soviet domination of Eastern Europe, and there never will be under a Ford administration.
I'm sorry, could I just pause? Did I understand you to say, sir, that the Russians are not using Eastern Europe as their own sphere of influence?
Number 4, age is just a number. Ronald Reagan, Walter Mondale, 1984. President Ronald Reagan gave us some memorable moments in the past presidential debates, and nothing was new in 1984. Some observers worried that Ronald Reagan might have grown too old to continue with the presidency. His quick response during the presidential debate with Walter Mondale is widely seen as having diffused this concern, as he made jokes at his opponent's young age and inexperience that even made Mondale laugh with the rest of the crowd.
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Number 3, Oops, Rick Perry, 2012. In recent years, primary debates, or at least debate moments, have been getting as much as if not more attention than the general election debates. Perhaps the most memorable moment of 2012 came when Republican candidate Rick Perry couldn't remember the third government agency he wanted to eliminate. He paused, he stumbled, he finally said, "Oops." Perry was one of the first GOP candidates to drop out of the 2016 election, and some media outlets reported that his oops moment might have destroyed his political career.
It's 3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? Let's see.
But you can't name the third one?
The third agency of government, yeah. I would do away with the education, commerce. Commerce, and let's see. I can't. The third, sorry. Oops.
What?
Number 2, Jail Time, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Presidential Debate 2016. In an acrimonious presidential debate filled with personal attacks and ridicule, it was Republican nominee Donald Trump's threat to jail his rival that became the most replayed clip over the years. The remark came at the end of the discussion of Miss Clinton's handling of classified emails while she was Secretary of State. Trump blurted back, "Or you'd be in jail," to Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton after she warned of Mr. Trump being in charge of the law and order in this country.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Number 1, Telling the Truth, Elizabeth Warren, Michael Bloomberg, Democratic Debate 2020. Mike Bloomberg spent roughly $400 million on television ads before he stepped onto the debate stage. When he finally did, Warren made him wish he hadn't. Warren eviscerated Bloomberg, the former New York City mayor, twice in the primary debate stages, going after him for his mistreatment of female employees at his company Bloomberg LP in a stunningly effective assault. Bloomberg, throughout the rest of the debate, attempted to play down the matter, but it was too late after this moving moment from Elizabeth Warren.
Who we're running against, a billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump, I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg. Democrats are not going to win if we have a nominee who has a history of hiding his tax returns, of harassing women, and of supporting racist policies like redlining and stop and frisk. Look, I'll support whoever the Democratic nominee is, but understand this: Democrats take a huge risk if we just substitute one arrogant billionaire for another. This country has worked for the rich for a long time and left everyone else in the dirt. It is time to have a president who will be on the side of working families and be willing to get out there and fight for them. That is why I am in this race, and that is how I will beat Donald Trump.